Alright, this is lesson 103, Algebra 2, and this is called Advanced Polynomial Division. Anytime you see the word advanced, it always scares me. But this isn't really too terrible. Remember when we did this earlier? We did this long polynomial division. I'm going to make my line a little bit better. I don't want it to be moving up high. So I have room to write my answer there. And we're dividing it by that. Okay, so this is the way I do it. I pretty much take away the second part. Alright, and I put it kind of clear over here. I'm just going to kind of move the sign and the y cube, move it clear over there because I've got some other things I'm going to do first. Now the difference between this kind of division and the division you did before is you didn't have two variables. You only had like x plus 1 and you didn't have any y's. So you just had an x and an x over here, so it made it a lot different. Alright, this one here, gonna basically do the same thing. Nothing really scary, so let's start with red ink. Maybe they shouldn't use red ink because that is kind of scary, isn't it? Okay, let's use blue. Alright, so x goes into x cubed. If you remember, it goes x squared because if you add this to this, or I'm sorry, this to this, you'll get this 3. So 1 plus 2 is 3. So you always know what this number is going to be because this exponent and this exponent have to add to be that one. Okay, so once I do that, I multiply this times this and this times this. So this times this is going to be x cubed, right? Okay, and this times this is going to be x squared y. Okay, now notice what's happening here. We have a 3 on the x and we have a 2 on the x. We have no y and now we have 1, and then we go higher until x cubed. Here we start at x cubed, we go to x squared, and pretty soon we'll be down to x1. So the first variable will go down, the second variable will go up. Okay, so just something to keep in mind. Now we're going to find out how many, we have to subtract, right? Let's go ahead and draw our line. And we put our minus. And remember, those go away because we subtract. Okay, 0 minus x squared y gives me a negative x squared y. Okay, now I'm going to find out how many times x goes into x squared y. Okay, remember that's a 1 and that's a 2, so that'll just be a 1x up here, and it'll be a minus sign because of that negative. And how many times does x go into y? Well, it doesn't, so our y will just jump up there since it doesn't go into it. Okay, and so now if we look here, we've got 1x and 1x gives me 2. No y plus 1y gives me 1y, so I know I'm on the right track here. Alright, now let's multiply this times this. So that's going to give me x times x, going to give me negative x squared, y times nothing there. So I'm taking this times this x, and that's going to give me that. Now we're going to take the xy times the y. See over here, to get these two, we took this times that and got x cubed, that times that and got x squared y. We took this one times x to get this. Okay, now we have to take this times this, and that gives me a negative xy squared. Okay, see what I've got there? Alright, now I subtract. So it ends up being this minus negative, or this plus this, which means that goes away. We don't have anything. 0 minus negative xy squared is the same as 0 plus xy squared. Gives me xy squared. Alright, let's keep going. Let's divide x into xy squared. X goes into x. 1 here and 1 here. Okay, so we get 0 x's up there because, see, when we did this into this, it was 2 minus 1, right? Which gave us 1. Here it's 1 minus 1, which is 0, so the x's disappear. Now we have a y squared here. X goes into y squared, just y squared, so nothing changes there. Okay. Now, I go ahead and multiply. This times this is going to give me xy squared. And now I'm going to take y squared times y, and that gives me y cubed. Subtract. This goes away. Y cubed minus y cubed. Now the reason I use that y cubed is because I have a y cubed now. Before I was using zeros because I didn't have anything. So when I was like right here, I didn't have anything up here to subtract, so I just used zeros. But when I have the matching ones, that's when I actually subtract, and when I subtract I get 0. So that is my answer. Alright, so again, just watching me do these is the only way you're going to learn these. Alright, let's do one more. Okay, so this is example 103.2, and again, if you remember on the last one, I would rewrite this, so let's move that over there. I'm going to rewrite it as x minus y, x cubed, and I'm going to put my y minus y cubed clear over there, okay, because I don't really do anything with it. Alright, so again, x goes into x cubed, x squared. I multiply x squared times x, and I get x cubed. I multiply x squared times negative y. Okay, once I do that, then I draw my line and I subtract. This gives me 0. 0 minus negative x squared y gives me a positive x squared y. Now I divide x into x squared y. X goes into x squared. X times, it does not go into y, so the y just goes up there. Now, x squared y times x, then xy times x, then xy times negative y. So xy times x is going to give me, do it in blue, x squared y. Xy times negative y is going to give me negative xy squared. Draw my line, put a minus sign, those go away, and then I have 0, just put a 0 up there, 0 minus negative xy squared, which is the same as plus xy squared. Okay, now I take x into this. X goes into x. Actually, this is, remember, a 1 and a 1, so 1 minus 1 is 0. So xy squared, we just get a y squared up there. Okay, then we multiply y squared times x, and we get xy squared, and then we take our y squared times y, and we get negative y cubed. Okay, draw our line. These match, and when we take negative y cubed minus negative, or negative y cubed plus y cubed, we get 0. So when that happens, we have no remainder, and that's my answer. Okay, so that's it for lesson 103. That's it. I know these are really, really tough. And when you get into upper level math, I will show you some secret tricks to these to make them easier. Don't you hate it when math teachers do that? Yeah, you got to do it the really hard way right now, but later on, when you're sick of this, I'll show you a real easy way. But anyway, that's for next year. All right, so 103, that's done.